You're listening to the Reaching Japan podcast. My name is James Miyashita. So glad that you're here today. In this podcast, we cover updates and news about what's currently happening in our lives and ministry. You can find us on the web at reachingjapan.com, facebook.com/reachingjapan, and twitter.com/reachingjapan. Now, if you haven't already, please leave us a review for this podcast so others can find it as well and join us on the journey of reaching Japan with the gospel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, so we're coming to you today from New York City. We just got up here. We drove up Sunday night and arrived on Monday. We've been checking out places in Queens and the Bronx and different areas around New York City with Jon Canavan. He's a church planter here up in New York City. Jon, you want to say hey?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah, this is Jon. He's a church planter up here, planning on a church plant this year. And, you know, it's been just a tremendous experience getting to see these different neighborhoods. Jon, tell us about some of these neighborhoods that we've been seeing up here in New York City.
So most people don't understand, but New York City is very diverse, but it's also kind of segregated. There are a lot of different neighborhoods that have different demographics, different cultures. And so it's kind of neat when you're driving around like we've been doing just to see each neighborhood just changing. As soon as you cross the lines, you see you might be in a Hispanic neighborhood, and then we went into Flushing where it was an Asian neighborhood, and then you go over across the line, it might be an African-American neighborhood. And it's just neat to see how many neighborhoods there are and how much of a need there is for the gospel.
It really has been amazing. And it's not just the people, you know, the signs. It goes from Chinese to Arabic to just all these different languages in these neighborhoods that are on the signs. You hear different languages spoken on the street. And it really is so diverse, just neighborhood to neighborhood, just like Jon was saying. Jon, how can we be praying for you?
Please pray with us. We're finishing up our deputation, our support raising this summer. And then, Lord willing, at the end of the summer, we're moving up here. And we're trying to start our church this fall. And so we're still lack a little bit. And so we're praying and asking God to provide that. But we're just excited. Please pray that God would continue to lead us to the exact neighborhood He wants us to go in. We feel like He's been leading us towards the Bronx. And so we're excited to get up there. But we're just excited to see all that God's going to do. You know, as we're driving down the streets, you just see so many people that are hurting and need. And so we're excited to get there.
Yeah, driving around has just been like, I want to start 20 churches tomorrow.
That's right.
Because there's no gospel witness. We see some crazy cults. We see some Pentecostal churches that look like they're about to fall over, getting old and dilapidated, but not really a clear gospel witness. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm up here. Well, we're moving to Nagoya later this year, and a lot of similarities, a lot of the big city feel, but also looking to plant a church in a city. Not quite as big as New York City, but trying to learn. And it really has been a tremendous experience being up here with Pastor Austin Gardner, Pastor Trent Cornwell, and Jeff Bush, who's our mission director at Vision Baptist Missions. Just tremendous godly men with wonderful wisdom and advice. Greg Keelan, who's also on staff at Visions, here with us as well. So it's been a wonderful trip. Please pray for us as we fly back down to Atlanta today. But I would like for you to think about and pray about supporting Jon Canavan. He is a friend of mine. He needs more support. We want this city reached and to be an effective witness. Jon needs your support. And so, Jon, could you tell us a little bit more about what kind of support you need?
So we're raising money so that way we can get a church established. The rents here are very high, and so obviously we had to raise some extra support. But we know God can provide it, and we're excited to see Him do that. We looked at some buildings, some commercial real estate, just some different storefronts and different things as we were driving around. And, you know, you think about our God has, you know, a land on 1,000 hills, and He has the cattle of a land on 1,000 hills. There are so many different things that can be done in this city, and we know that God will provide the necessary financing. And we're just excited to see all that God will do. You know, you think about, like James was saying, all the Pentecostal churches that are here, and a lot of these poorer neighborhoods, they're the ones infiltrating it, and they've got financial backing. They have the resources that they need to get churches started, and so we want to see churches started with the truth, to see the gospel being spread throughout the city. And so we're excited to get up here and to see all that God will do. Lord willing, we'd like to start more than one church. And so we're planning on starting the first one this fall, and then possibly even starting a second one within the next 12 months. And so we definitely need the financing. So please pray about that with us.
Yeah, so don't just pray about it. Just don't. I would like to ask you to pray, God, how much do you want me to give Jon Canavan monthly? Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 500? We've been looking at places, calling real estate agents, getting rent, and it's not cheap up here. So we're asking you to pray about, God, how much will you give me? What should I give Jon Canavan monthly to go get a gospel witness up in New York City? So thank you so much for your prayers. We're continuing to travel, continuing to report to our churches as Rosie and I are back in the States. But it's exciting to see that a good gospel witness is going to be up here in New York City. We've met a couple of churches. They're doing a great job trying to get the gospel out. But we need more churches. Like I said, we'd like to see 20 tomorrow. But we need that financial backing as well. So please do pray about this. Pray for our safety on the road. And thank you so much for supporting our family and getting the gospel back to Japan. So that's a little bit of what's been going on here. Now, if you have any questions or comments about what we talked about today, I'd love to hear from you. I will do my best to answer those questions on this podcast. You can always reach me via email. My email address is james@reachingjapan.com. That's james@reachingjapan.com. We are honored to serve under the direction of Vision Baptist Church and Vision Baptist Missions in Alpharetta, Georgia. If you're looking for a way to take your next step in ministry or missions, please reach out to me. Thanks for tuning in today. We will see you next time.